Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 163. Do you know what? I'm actually going to get comfy with this. So because I'm recording these in my office now, I magnet my microphone to my actual microphone, but it gets in the way. I am going to sit back, I'm going to take my shoes off, I'm going to lean back in my seat, I'm going to get comfy and record this. So, let's talk about metabolisms. This came up with a new member that's joined me this week. I think I just have a slow metabolism. And prior to telling me that, she's telling me about her emotional eating, using food to cope, drinking alcohol multiple times per week, but then also holding on to this idea that they have a slow metabolism. Now, is there such a thing as a slow metabolism? Yes. Is there such a thing as a fast metabolism? Yes. But as with the vast majority of things in the human body, the differences between us are so infinitesimal. People think that... And this just comes from a lack of understanding, but it happens with most things. People take vitamins expecting to feel amazing. People start walking more, expecting it to have some dramatic effect. People eat more vegetables, expecting it to completely change their life. And it's that thing that I often talk about, right? Where there is so much you can do to make yourself feel like absolute shit when it comes to food and drink. Like, you can make yourself feel dramatically awful with food and or drink. But you cannot make yourself feel dramatically amazing with the same things. What I mean by that is, let's imagine someone is at baseline, right? You're at 0. And from 0, let's say you wake up each day at 0 and you have a series of choices and decisions to make. You can move your body, you can have a balanced diet, you can stay hydrated, and you can maybe go from 0 to 10. And that's it. Like, you could do a little more to get like a fractional improvement, but in terms of feeling good, you can go from a 0 to a 10. Now, in the opposite direction, you can wake up, you can not hydrate, you can drink coffee all day, you can not eat well, you can not eat in a balanced way, you can lean on sugar all day, you can eat to great excess, and you can go from a 0 to a minus 100. You will always be able to make yourself feel so much worse with food and drink than you will ever be able to make yourself feel better. The improvements that people experience usually come from going from that minus stage back to 0. If you're living at minus 100 every day and you make a few changes to your diet and you go to minus 50, that's a 50 improvement. You are going to feel much better. But you get to a point where you can't keep making yourself feel amazing. When people, it's the same as when I work with people inside the Monroe Method in the first week. We'll get to the end of their first 7 days from tracking and they'll be like, I feel so much better. I'm sleeping so much better. My mood's improved. My skin's clearing up. I've got so much more energy. I don't feel bloated. And it's not because they've went from 0 to 10. It's because they've went from minus 100 back to 0. It's the absence of them making themselves feel like crap. From there, you don't get many more improvements. So coming back to metabolism, I am 41 years old, I'm 5'9", and I am, somewhere between 11 and a half and 12 stone. If I go and get another guy, the same as me, same height, same age, same weight, similar activity level, let's say I'm burning 2,300 calories a day, and he has a faster metabolism than me. He might burn 2,350 calories a day. These are the sort of differences that we're talking about, right? So let's say that guy burns 50 more calories than me because genetically his metabolism is faster and he's burning 50 more calories. Is that going to be the difference between him being 2 or 3 or 4 stone lighter than me? Probably not. 350 calories per week is not a massive advantage, is it? 50 calories per day is not a massive advantage. The differences in metabolisms between like for like people are in the tens of calories. In very extreme cases, maybe 100 calories a day. But 100 calories a day, a packet of crisps wipes that out. A chocolate digestive wipes that out. A Freddo bar wipes that out. There are people with fast metabolisms who are heavily overweight, and there are people with slower metabolisms who are living at a perfectly healthy weight. It's not something that should even enter someone's mind because it's not an advantage. You know, oh, you're burning 50 more calories than me, lucky you. You get to eat, an extra half a biscuit per day compared to me. And it's not something you can measure anyway. I mean, you can go and get tested. My friend Sam does metabolic testing. You can get a big gas mask strapped to your face and run on a treadmill and have your metabolism tested to find out where you're at. But in the grand scheme of things, there are so many more things you could be worrying about, and not worrying about, but so many more things you could be focusing on and giving your attention to than whether your metabolism is fast or slow. You know, your metabolism's irrelevant when you're drinking a 600 calorie bottle of wine. Your metabolism is irrelevant when you're eating a 2,000 calorie takeaway on a Saturday night, right? It doesn't matter what your metabolism is. And this is very similar to exercise. You know, when I talk about, like, you know, the single greatest factor when it comes to your weight will always, always, always be your diet. You are capable of consuming thousands and thousands of calories in a single day. You are not capable of burning thousands and thousands of calories in a single day. So what matters more? Trying to burn an extra few hundred calories worth of workout, or trying to reduce the thousands of calories that you're eating? Do you know, I was talking to someone about this at the weekend. It's the same with spending. There is a limit to how much money a person can earn. There is no limit to how much money a person can spend. You can go out at any time with a credit card and spend £5,000. You cannot go out at any time and make £5,000. And transfer that to your body. You can go out at any time and eat and drink. It'd be hard to do with food, I reckon. But with the right combination of food and drinks, you could eat 5,000, we'll say consume, not eat. You can consume 5,000 calories. However, it would take you days to try and burn an extra 5,000 calories. So forget about the whole metabolism stuff. Like, it should not be something that even enters a person's brain. I remember watching this TV show a long time ago. Like, before I became a nutritionist, I don't watch things like this anymore. I was thinking about this the other day. Remember that program, Super Size versus Super Skinny? It wasn't that, but I was thinking about that the other day. Then I also thought about this other program that I watched where it was about chronic dieters. This was long before, this was when I was just a yo-yo dieter trying to lose weight. Sorry, put more wood on the fire because it's chilly today. This program, and it was a lady who had tried every diet, who could not lose weight. She was determined that it had nothing to do with her. She was holding on to, our final thing was she was holding on to having a slow metabolism. Oh, I've tried everything. My body just holds on to weight. I can't lose any weight. I've worked with someone like this before. One person who was determined that they were a medical marvel until they went to the doctors and found out they were not a medical marvel. They just weren't sticking to anything. And I remember watching that TV show, and the lady went. They tested her metabolism, and she actually had a pretty quick metabolism. And the words, I can't remember the exact words that she said, but it was something along the lines of, okay, well, there goes my final excuse, or there goes my last excuse. You know, I remember when the doctor came back and said, your metabolism's great. It's actually running above average. So she may have been someone with the 100 calorie per day advantage over what they would expect for someone her age, weight, height, sex, etc. But yeah, when it comes to metabolism, it's one of those things that will slow you down and hold you back if you decide to latch on to it. And like I said, with most things are overplayed when it comes to the human body. When we think about supplements, people are really buying into the whole collagen thing right now, or they have been for a long time. And if you have protein in your diet, you really don't need a collagen supplement. But somebody asked me the other day, why do people say they feel amazing after taking supplements? And I'm like, well, think about what a supplement is, right? A supplement is usually a derivative from food. So when you have multivitamins, some of these are created in labs, some of them are synthetic, but some of them are just taken from dried out vegetables, dried out fruit. They've taken the best part, they've powdered it down and putting it into a tablet. Or these collagen supplements or whatever. It's usually just a food extract. Now, if you are taking something that is extracted from food because you're not getting enough of it, the logical train of thought here should be, if I'm taking a tablet that they've made from food, should I not just be getting that food in my diet? Like if you're taking multivitamins, I don't really mind people taking multivitamins because they are so ridiculously ineffective that it's like a why not thing. Like if you can afford a multivitamin, it's not going to do you any harm, and it might even give you a microscopic benefit. And if someone has a perfectly healthy, balanced diet and they also want to take a multivitamin as a just in case, then I'm not against it. It really does no harm, because anything, especially with like water soluble vitamins, if you take too much of it, then you just pee it out. So it really doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, yeah, I eat plenty of vegetables, I eat plenty of fruit, I'm probably getting enough. But you know what? I'm just going to take this anyway. I'm not against it. But it's when we start, if you go into any supermarket and go to the vitamin section, it's crazy. It's a minefield. This one's for hair and nails, and this one's for skin and nails, and this one's for hair, skin, and nails. And it's like, all they're doing is latching onto things that they know people struggle with, right? So your nails might be brittle, your hair might be brittle. How do we strengthen them? Well, they need protein. They're made from keratin. I don't know about hair, actually. I know nails are made from keratin. I don't know about hair off the top of my head. I feel like keratin's involved. But ultimately, if you have plenty of protein in your diet, that's where your hair and nails are going to get their strength from. I've mentioned this before. I followed this person for a while and spoke to this person for a while because they asked for advice. And she was very into her running, but she was also very into healthy eating, and she ate so little for what she did. Her hair was falling out, her nails were breaking, her skin was breaking out, and she was forever spending a lot of money on expensive Australian, whatever that conditioner was, these little sachets that you put in your hair and leave in, expensive skincare routines, expensive nail treatments, painting stuff on her nails to try and strengthen them. And it's like, but she was also extremely slim, very low body weight. Every workout photo was like, look at my abs. And she was one of those people who appeared to have fallen into the trap of thinking that, because they're maintaining a lean body and they're eating vegetables, that they're healthy. But she was one of those people who slipped into the category of, your eating's great, you're just not eating enough. You need to eat more. And they just didn't have enough in their diet. They eventually realised this later on, but the point is, when things are not going right with hair or skin or nails or things like that, and I don't mean this in the medical sense, I'm not giving you medical advice, but your first port of call should be, I can't remember who I spoke to this about recently, I think it might have been somebody new that joined. Imagine your body as being a plant pot, right? and you are trying to plant a seed in that plant pot. Now, would you just go out to your front garden, dig up some mud, put it in the plant pot, and then plant your seed in there and expect it to grow? Or do you go out and buy a bag of compost and you plant the seed in the compost because you know the compost has got lots of nutrients in it? The seed's going to grow great. This is what your body's like, right? You are a walking bag of compost or a walking bag of soil, and it's like, well, what nutrients are you going to add to your soil, not soul, add to your soil to help everything grow? Because your hair grows out of you, your nails grow out of you, your skin doesn't grow out of you, but it is constantly growing and repairing and healing itself. Your body needs the building blocks to make these things strong. The other thing as well is, if you think about, there's like an order of priority in your body, right? And when it comes to like putting nutrients in, so imagine there's this guy in your head, or girl, sorry, guy. When I say guy, I don't mean man, I mean people in general. Imagine there is a person in your head with a clipboard, and every time you eat, the food's going by on a conveyor belt. And it's like, okay, what have we got here? We've got some carrots, we've got some broccoli, we've got some protein, we've got some chicken. Okay, what have we got? And then it all goes into little piles. And then the person walks over and looks at the piles and says, okay, so today we got 50 grams of protein, today we got 100 milligrams of vitamin C, and we've, etc. Okay, we're going to send that to your organs, we're going to send that to your skin. We don't really have much left over, so we're just going to send a little to the hair and a little to the nails. So there's like an order of priority. So if you're deficient, now when I say deficient, I mean it in the term of like deficit, like you're not getting enough. I don't mean a diagnosed deficiency. But if you are not getting enough of something, then the least important thing gets what's left over, and it's last. This is why, and survival is the most important thing. So your body will send it to your organs. It will send it where it matters most. Because if we remove let's go back a few hundred years to a time when we had to grow our own food or catch it or kill it. We needed our bodies for survival. We needed to be able to move. We needed to be able to think. We needed to be able to hunt, to perform manual labour. And we also needed to be alive and survive. Anything related to that is number one priority. Having thick, glossy hair is not important to survival. Having strong, shiny, smooth, thick nails is not essential to survival. However, they are beauty, aesthetic things. But they're not necessary. So when we have diets that are deficient, when we're not getting enough vitamins and minerals in the diet, when we're not getting enough protein in the diet, and we have things that are dependent on these, it's going to be left to last. So, sorry, that was a huge tangent. This is why they will market vitamins to you that are for skin, hair, and nails, because they know skin, hair, and nails are important to people. It's why they'll market vitamins for you that are for immunity. Look at the ingredient list. There's nothing in there that you can't get from food. So vitamins, all this stuff, like all we're using that for is to prop up a nutritionally poor diet. You can skip that, have a great diet, and at the same time with that great diet, also manage your weight. Anyway, this started off about metabolisms. The point was, there are very few benefits that you can get, and when you do get the benefits, they are infinitesimal, right? They're the extra 1%. You will always be able to have the greatest impact on your health, on your diet, on your health, on your weight, on your body, on your appearance, by making sure you're putting in what your body needs. And when it comes to metabolisms, yes, somebody might have a tiny advantage over you, but it doesn't mean that, if you see someone who is appears to be a healthy weight, it's not because they have a fast metabolism. Like, no, we're not talking about, oh, you're burning hundreds of more calories than me, that's how you can eat like that. If they are burning hundreds of more calories than you, it's because they're more active, or their body weight's higher, or they're younger, or whatever. Like for like, age, height, sex, weight, activity level, etc., the differences are infinitesimal. So let go of this idea that there are people out there who are burning hundreds and hundreds more calories than you, and that's how they find it easier to lose weight. In the same way that let go of the idea that you must be burning hundreds and hundreds of calories less than like for like people, same as you, and that's why you're gaining weight. Once we let go of these beliefs that are holding us back, it frees you up to focus on the things that matter. Assume that your metabolism is a non-issue and focus on the things that matter. Your habits, your mindsets, mindset, behaviors, eating habits. That is where you will have the most significant impact. Enough from me today. Until next time.